Bem-vindo! Hoje é o nosso primeiro programa falando no inglês, no ConecTv.
Welcome to the Algarve by ConecTv.
Clínica Pacifico, your perfect smile is here. Currencies for you, global payment specialists. Energy Lounger, rejuvenate your body. Bamper Properties and Lifestyle.
Welcome back. We're here again, and on the end of the last programme I told you that I was going to be interviewing somebody who's literally just arrived here in the Algarve and is doing some wonderful things. This is Claudia. I'm going to have a go.
Schalkx.
Schalkx, thank you. What I can tell you is in Dutch it means mischief, which is far more up my street. So, Claudia, you've started a company called Bridge to More. Bridge to More. So, I find it quite amazing. You're so brave. You're so brave. I know you're going to tell us in a minute. We know that you've lived in lots of places. You speak lots of languages. We often see people who come to the Algarve who they have a dream. I'd like to buy a ruin. I want to buy an old house. I want to do it up. And straight away, as a real estate agent, you think, oh God, please don't do it. Please don't do it. But it can be so complicated. Our laws are so convoluted. True. They change all the time. So when I met you and we started to talk and you told me that you arrived in September.
Yeah.
We're not even 6 months in.
No, 4.5 today.
4.5 months. Good Lord. Okay. So, Claudia, tell us a little bit about your background first. I don't know whether to say you're from Holland or Venezuela or...
Well, I was born in Venezuela to Dutch parents, born and raised in Venezuela. So I grew in different cultures at the same time. At home, it was very Dutch and very international because my parents worked in the expat circle, and during the weeks I would go to Venezuelan school. So I was very Venezuelan during the school times and very Dutch, and I was always kind of a misfit because I didn't feel fully Venezuelan and neither did I feel fully Dutch. So I was always navigating the differences. But my parents always pushed our dreams. So they were not judgmental and everything we wanted to do was okay. Or we should give it a try. So I've worked and lived in different countries, basically in corporate communications and marketing. And I've worked in the US, in Colombia, in Curacao, in Venezuela, in Italy, in the Netherlands, and now in Portugal.
And what have you been doing?
Well, mainly it's corporate communications when I had a corporate life. That was till my work in the US. And after September 11, I lost my job for understandable reasons. Because there was a deceleration of the economy. So working in a communications agency where my billability just went tanked, they couldn't renew my working visa. So I went to the Netherlands and kind of gathered my thoughts again. And from there I went to Italy and worked in incentives and congresses. Always opening opportunities in foreign markets. So bringing other organizations that wanted to go to Italy. So I was the liaison between the agency and the other party. And that is always the common line between all my jobs, is that I've been bridging the gap between a problem and a solution.
Okay, bridge to more.
Bridge to more.
So you're doing all those things. You're talking about a number of different countries. They all speak different languages. Mm-hmm. Did you have a common language that you were using for all of those, or did you?
No, in the US I spoke English, and in Venezuela Spanish, and at home Dutch or English. In Italy I learned Italian and spoke Italian, and at the same time during my master's degree in Italy I also learned Brazilian Portuguese. So that has helped me to, bridge the gap again with the language
Yes.
here, even though it's Brazilian Portuguese, and there are some slight differences.
Like American English.
Yeah.
There are differences, but
Yeah.
we all understand. Okay, so that explains a little bit more about how you've been able to slip into Portugal and start to do what you have done and that you are continuing to do, presumably speaking Portuguese. So you've done exactly what we just said. You've bought an older house and you are now refurbishing, remodeling.
Yep.
Okay,
Our
so
house.
wow, I'm beginning to sweat even thinking about it. So
Well, the thing is, our decision to move was a very long one because my sister and I never felt at home in the Netherlands. But we thought Italy can be very rough on the edges, you know, sometimes, and they can be very aggressive sometimes. And that was something from the Netherlands we were also trying to minimize. Spain never struck our fancies, and Greece was nice, but we had absolutely no connection with the language. And, you know, the older you get, the harder it is to learn a new language. So we kind of dropped the idea until somebody last year said, girls, why don't you try Portugal? Go to Portugal because Portugal has everything you want. So we came in March last year to the Algarve. And I remember on a very rainy day, my sister and I spent 6 hours in the car going from Carvoeiro, where we were staying, to Lagos and back. Dirt roads, gravel roads, asphalt roads, highway, everything. We took the tours, and you know, when we found ourselves saying, oh, this looks like that neighborhood in Caracas. This looks like this little town in Venezuela. And that feeling of familiarity and belonging kind of wrapped us so much that on that moment we decided we were coming to Portugal. In 6 months, we sold our 2 properties in the Netherlands, bought our property here, packed and moved with a dog and 2 cats.
wow. So you arrived in September.
Yeah, we arrived in September and we bought a lovely property that used to be an orange farm. So we are surrounded by oranges all over. And when the previous or the original owner sold the property, he divided also the land. And what we bought is the main house, which is an Algarvian house, and what used to be the machinery storage or the garage. So both have been remodeled for living. And the last owner had a very particular way of seeing maintenance and solving problems. So there were a lot of precarious solutions there. And the longer we live in the house, the more things.
Surprise!
Yeah, you know, for instance, there is in my house, that's the smaller house, and my sister has the other house. There is a huge bathroom, very, very comfortable. But it also has a large bath. And the curtain rod goes from wall to wall, and it's a too long curtain rod. So there is nothing in the middle to hold the curtain rod. And what he did is he took a bikini cord
Nailed
and
into
he
the ceiling.
tied it to the ceiling, you know, and we were like, what? So, and you know, door hinges glued with crazy glue and that kind of stuff. So when we came, we knew the house needed repairs and all that stuff. But, you know, has been a challenge to our creativity to solve.
And have you done this sort of thing before? Have you done this in other countries?
Yes, we also bought our houses in the Netherlands, and my house in the Netherlands, the previous owner had multiple sclerosis and he had cancer. So in the last 7 years, he hadn't done anything to the house.
Okay.
So I also, that house needed a lot.
Because I have to say, again, you know, with my real estate background, when we're showing houses that are owned by Dutch people, you know it's going to be a pleasure.
Yeah.
You've got the doors that open, you have the tray that comes out and the storage units, and it's just tweaked a little bit further normally. Obviously there are others, but normally tweaked that little bit further than homes owned by other nationalities.
Yes.
So I'm just imagining you and your sister with your Dutch background going in there into a ostensibly older property. So you don't have insulating. You're not going to have plasterboard.
No.
You're not going to have the raised flooring or
No,
ceiling
no.
or anything.
Yeah.
That's a massive job.
That's a massive
In
job,
a foreign
but
country.
in the basics, the house is healthy. So that
Yeah.
you know, and her house has thick walls, so that's an insulation in itself. But my house has thinner walls, and then the windows were going to make the difference. So when we moved here, we were like, oh, well, we're first going to change the kitchen and throw some walls and whatever. And then when we realized the poor state of the windows and the doors, our priorities changed drastically. So we thought, okay, the first thing we're going to do are the windows, heating, and cooling. And so we started asking to people we knew and in the different Facebook groups referrals. But the problem with referrals is people say, I work with this person, and that's it. They don't say you the in-between things or the, you know, the back things.
I think I often hear, we've worked with them, the job was absolutely wonderful. It did take 6 months longer than we thought it was going
Exactly.
to. That comes up all the time.
Or he disappeared without giving any explanations, and 3 months later he came back. And we called, and you know. So we had read and heard all these horror stories. So we started, before we came, we started working with an architect because we have given ideas with the house. And as you will know, the Portuguese tend to fatten the house. Fatten engordou a casa, it's an expression to say they built more than allowed. So our house has parts that don't belong to the house, and they need to be registered. So we are legalizing those areas. So we started working with him, and he looked at us and said, "Girls, do you know what you got into?" And we said, "Yes, we know but absolutely we had no idea, because as I told you, the more we lived in the house and the more we cleaned and organized." So we said to him, we need somebody that comes and helps us with windows and doors, because my sister's house had a door, the main door, and between the door and the door frame, there was a hole like this. There was some of the pictures you will see. And you know, the wind and the rain, it was incredible. So he referred us somebody, and another friend of us also referred us somebody. So these two people came. One didn't report back, and the one referred to us by the architect is a Portuguese gentleman. And he was so empathic and so client-oriented. And
I thought it was going to be a horror story. I'm so happy to hear that.
This gets only better. So he said, "You girls, you must be lucky that you moved to one of the safest countries in the world, because none of your windows closes, none of your doors locks." And then he saw the garage door and he said, "This is falling apart. You can't live here." And we said, "You know, we'll fix it, don't worry." So he came several times, and every time he came and we had a warm conversation, and he was genuinely interested, and you know, and he had good ideas. And he explained us where we were buying. And he said, you know, for instance, south windows, they take all the sun, so they need different glass than north windows. And you know, and you can have these doors. And that. So we ordered doors with him. And he has been so punctual, to the point, so responsible. So, you know, we were like, all these horror stories can't be true. So one day, he came home, and we used to open the garage door every day so that people didn't have to, because it were 4 panels that were falling apart from each other. So it had a manual to open it, instructions. And then he came home, and I forgot to open the door, and he came to the living room when one of the 4 panels of the doors in his hand. And he said, "Girls, this is it. You cannot have this door anymore." And he said, "Yes, but you know, our budget has a limit." And he said, "You know what? I'm going to give you the door, and you pay that door whenever you can." And my sister and I were like, "What?" And we thought, yeah, you know, That's one of those promises. And then he will hide and we're doing the door or whatever. And 2 months later, we had a door hanging and doing so. And we already have our doors and we have our windows. So the windows and the doors, it's a tricky process because you have the manufacturing of the windows and the doors and you have the installation. Yeah. And the installation is done by somebody else who it's not the doors and the windows. So the scheduling there was tricky because this guy the masonry guy, he had other jobs. So he had, which is the part that makes it very difficult, he had people from Senegal working from him that he was training or he's training. And when these people get paid, they disappear for a week or two. So works get delayed because even though he planned everything, his people disappears
it's
when
normal.
They get paid.
It's just we just accept it now.
Yeah, so that happened in Venezuela too. People would get the workers would get their weekly or their quarterly pay, and you won't see them on Monday and Tuesday because they drank it all, So he would disappear and he wouldn't call us and say, I can't show up because my people is not coming.
At least he's calling.
No, he didn't. So I called him and said, hey, what's going on? And he said, well, I've had some problems. And I said, according to me, your people is not showing up, are they? And he said, no, they aren't. So, I said, well, next time just call me and let me know because in that way we can. Yeah. Because we work from home, so if they were going to drill or or tear down the walls, we needed to organize our job around it. So it has been a constant communication with them and understanding that even though in the Netherlands we are very organized and very planned, you always have to leave room for things that don't go according. And, we are guests here. It's what I said to you when we met. Portugal has opened their arms and has welcomed us here. So we need to learn the Portuguese ways. Well, you can't get over it.
And I think a lot of it is also culture. This is how things have always been. And when you see a lot of places in Europe, it's all push, 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 and if you don't do this by this time, you get these extra fines and all sorts. And we do have that here with a new build. Yeah. However, when it comes to work and maintenance, if it's somebody's birthday, take the day off. Yeah. You just got paid, take the day off.
They arrive at 9 and leave at noon, and then they come back at 3 and work till 7. And for instance, in the Netherlands, people start at 7. And leave at 2 or 3.
But I think also here, obviously, it gets really hot. So they'll work in the morning, they'll take that time off, they'll come back at night. Yeah. Have you experienced the barbecue yet?
No, our barbecue, yes, but not others' barbecues.
It's, we found whenever we've been building or I've been arranged with project management and this sort of thing, you'll find once or twice a year, for whatever reason,
a barbecue.
It will be down tools, and on this particular day, it all stops at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and in comes the laiton. And there's this barbecue and the drinks that goes on for the rest of the day. But it's part of the culture. It keeps everybody happy. Everyone's looked after each other. And it's just a different way to be. And there's no point throwing your toys out of the pram. There's no point stamping your feet because it's not going to get you anywhere. Whereas if you're saying, come on, guys, here's your beer. Let's get back and let's start again. Is a different mindset, and they're going to be.
Yeah, but then again, you're in Portugal, and you need to accept their ways. Yes. We are guests here. Yes. No matter we come from the European Union and all this borderless and all that stuff, we're still guests, and we need to respect the local culture, and we need to adapt. And you can't push them because they are like a water mattress. You press here and they come out here. So. You have to find your way.
And I also think that it's offensive. I hear regularly, well, in our country, we do it like this. You should think about doing it like that because this works. And I think, do you know what, this is how you do it in your country, but you chose to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So can we move on now? This is
Yeah.
where you've come to. This is how things are done. It will be done, and it will be done really, really well.
Yeah.
It might not be done in your time frame.
So precisely, that is one of the things that I adore from the Portuguese workers, is that manual work is really well done. It's done with love, it's done with dedication, it's done with artistry, and it's done, they are just masters at that, and that needs time.
Yes,
you know,
it does,
you cannot, I mean, cement has to dry, you cannot push that, you know, and paint also has to dry, and
you see the calçada, it's hand cut, and these guys are on their knees for hours and hours every day, making sure it all fits, and it's absolutely beautiful with the mosaics and everything else in there.
But you know,
Like
in the Netherlands, I remember when we were living there, we kind of adopted a guy seeking asylum from Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's super handy, so he helped us with a lot of things at home. And one day he said, Señora Claudia, you know, in the Netherlands there is a machine for everything. And it's true, you know. And here in Portugal there isn't a machine for everything. There is a lot of work that's done by hand. And, you know, that makes it even more, the word in Dutch is kostbaar, even more, you have to appreciate it even more, because there won't be two calçadas the same.
Absolutely.
There won't be two swimming pools the same.
And here with the houses, certainly in the UK, you get block after block after block of houses that all look exactly the same.
Exactly.
The interior is the same, the exterior is the same, but here, they're all unique.
Yeah.
So to have that handcrafted work that goes into that as well, the appreciation, the love for your home just grows and grows and grows. So where are you now? So you've done the doors, you've done the windows,
we've done the windows,
you've done the garage,
we've done the garage door. We built a catio for our cats. We have 2 shelter cats from the Netherlands that are sweethearts, but when you leave them in the nature, they kill everything. So we turned them into indoor cats, and we have this wonderful front door, and it's all PVC. But
that looks like hardwood.
No,
so it's not.
It's PVC. It's high quality PVC, and we said to the guy, we want a door that keeps the character of the house.
Yeah.
We don't want, you know. So he said, I'll give you the door you want. And the panel of the door took a little bit longer. So when he installed the doors, he put that door with a temporary panel in the middle. Yeah. And then when that panel was ready, because he was really irritated by the fact we had that window, that opening in the door, and the house was. So these are the old windows in my office, and these are the new windows and the air conditionings. And then this was an old mill to get water from the well. The well dried out, and we also got that out of the way. Okay. We found somebody who would do that and take everything out. So
I'm looking at all of this, and I'm thinking, okay, so you speak Portuguese. Mm-hmm. You were very new to the country. You didn't know the culture. So what's the difference between you being able to get these things done and somebody else who doesn't?
I think I see the person, and we ask a lot of questions. We understand what's going on, and I think the trick is asking the questions and also taking the time to know the person on the other side. You know, in the Netherlands.
So the people who are doing the services.
Yes. Yeah, in the Netherlands, because the judicial system works so well, people say hello and they go to business straight away. But in the Mediterranean cultures, because judicial system doesn't work at all, you need social proof.
You need to have lunch.
Yeah, you need social proof. You need to know who other person you know. So you need to take time to build the relationship, right? So, you know, we ask where they came from. For instance, a question that I always ask, there was this guy who came to clean our septic tank. And I asked him, how did you discover you wanted to do this for a job, you know? And he said, because if you don't take care of the dirty waters, the sewage waters, you will lose your house. Yeah. You know, the dirty job needs to be done. And I was like, so everybody has a story. Yeah. And we take the time to learn their stories and ask and, you know, offer coffee. And sometimes when we do lunch, we invite them for lunch. And that's a double-sided a double-edged knife, because having lunch with us means they don't have time for siesta. So after lunch, they go to work. But lunch has been taken care of, and they like it. So we see them as human beings, not as workers. And and if they had a bad day, we ask and that kind of stuff. So it's building the relationship, actually.
So you've actually jumped with both feet straight into Portuguese culture and embraced it, which is a wonderful thing to hear, because it's usually frustration and high blood pressure and all this stuff going on, whereas you're sitting here, you're so laid back.
Yeah, and I am not a laid back person. I am somebody who's with the whiplash there. But then again, if you want that uniqueness, if you want that work done with love, if you want that work done with dedication, you have to give people the time to do it with love and dedication. Some stuff you cannot rush.
So where are you going from here? What's your next move?
Well, my next thing is I want to help other people moving to Portugal to bridge the gap and help them to have successful renovation with the right contractors, because I was lucky to find really dedicated people that are hidden gems. They are the best kept secrets.
Yep. So this is where you're going to come in. So you're coming in with your communication skills, with the experience that you've gained so far. You're going to keep learning, doing more, learning more, and now you're going to be the bridge to more with other people coming in.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see where you are in another 6 months.
Lovely. I will let you know.
Please do, because we do get nightmare stories. So to hear somebody as positive as you that's getting these good results, it's it's
I mean, it's not going to be easy always. You will always bump into somebody who is who doesn't deliver.
There's
but
always good and bad to everything.
If the proportion is 90 to 10, then it's going to be
so. Is this something you're doing right now?
Yep.
Can we contact you? Okay. So will you look at this camera here, please, and let our viewers know how to get hold of you?
You can contact me through my website, bridgetomore.com, and the 2 is a number, or my LinkedIn site, on my LinkedIn profile, which is /Claudia Schalkx, and we will put the undertitle of my last name.
Yes, please. Yes, please. And as usual, I will also put those details out on Instagram, Living Life Algarve. We're going to collaborate with everything. So let's get Claudia's details out there. It's lovely to hear a positive story about refurbishments in the Algarve. So come back, let us have some photos, or come back and talk to us and see how you get on.
Sure,
Claudia,
I would love to.
Thank you very much for travelling all this way down here.
Thank you for hosting
to join me.
And for allowing me to share my positive experience.
You're very welcome. It's great for us.
Thank you.
That's it for another programme. As we've said in the last programme, we've got lots of what's on things going on. We're still in carnival mode, so look to see where your local carnivals are, see how you can participate with that. There's lots of charity drives going on at the same time. So this is as Claudia has put herself straight into the Portuguese community, this is your opportunity to do the same thing now in the next couple of weeks. So again, send us your photos, let us know where you are, what you're doing, and we'll see you again on the next programme. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Clínica Pacifico, your perfect smile is here. Currencies for you, global payment specialists. Energy Lounger, rejuvenate your body. Bamper Properties and Lifestyle.